Hello and welcome to the Godox Pub.
Where the drinks are never watered down and neither is the discussion. And take all this toilet paper.
That's what happens when a mummy gets too excited.
Oh. Hey, I just got the notification. We're streaming.
We are.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that they gave you that notification.
Yeah, without that I wouldn't know. Anyway.
So I'm laying out some pencil values to go by. I like the idea of leaving that mask white like that. That kind of, it's kind of Punisher Bane kind of mix to the face for the look, and I really like that.
Yeah, anyway, so I know that we were working with Shepard, but Thursday night I started to have an idea, and I went to bed with that idea, woke up with it, and I was like, God, I hate going to work because I want to just sit there and write, and I can't. They kind of frowned upon me saying, shut up, I want to write, to my students, so, had to actually go do my job. So it wasn't until last night, but I mean, it was just like, oh yeah, I mean, it was just, I didn't feel like I was forcing any of this. Now, granted, there are still some holes there, I think, because some of the stuff I just kind of glossed over because I was just getting the idea down. But I still thought it's a better story.
I think it could be part of the same story. Kind of feels like a.
Well, it's set in the same world.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It kind of feels like a Sin City type thing. Which is bouncing around between characters, but on the same setting.
Oh, I'm going to have to mute myself because I'm going to sneeze. All right. Wanted to make sure I wasn't muted again because I've done that before too, where I go through and just mute myself for whatever reason, and then forget to have her unmute.
Right.
Have long, deep conversations that no one else can hear. It's always awesome.
Well, it gets it out of your system anyway.
So, despite years of me talking about how dumb I think prom is, my son is at prom.
Well, of course.
No, I mean he was was pretty certain that, like, it's not his prom, it's his girlfriend's prom, technically. Because he's just a junior. And she's a senior. But I thought I was going to get out of it. I thought he was going to hold to the no prom thing. And it was only a couple weeks ago when he was finally like, yeah, she decided she wants to go. And I was like, no! Because she's a former student who I know I have talked to all of my classes about how dumb prom is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they're like, well, did you ever go to prom? I'm like, yeah, I went to 2 of them. And let me tell you, I enjoyed the people I was with and whatnot, but I could have done that without going to a school-sponsored event. So, when a tux rental's $200 on the cheap, and then, however much she spent on her dress, plus it's like $50 for tickets, and then there's more money for after prom, and it's all at the high school. It's like, what?
Right.
What is this $50 buying that they're doing it at the high school? So, whatever. I mean, that's, I suppose neither here nor there. It's not my prom, but, all the people who are getting, they miss school for it because they got to get their hair done and all that stuff. And then a bunch of them will be gone on Monday. And this is just not a good thing. The only thing I've ever heard about in support of prom is, well, it's tradition. And I'm just like, well, I don't care about tradition. Start a new tradition where you go off and do your own thing, and it's way more fun. Of course, I'm also biased because I don't like dressing up, and the girls do. Well, that's just weird.
Well, girls not wanting to dress up or wanting to dress up, that's not really weird.
No, it's weird for, I think, guys for the most part wanting to do it. Like, we do it reluctantly.
Most common, guaranteed.
But whatever. I mean,
When I was younger, I couldn't wait to wear a tie. But there was no excuses to wear one.
I think the tie is going to go the way of the dodo. As it should, by the way.
Like the way of the fedora.
Yeah, why would anyone, I mean, a tie has no purpose whatsoever. Other than to make you uncomfortable. I mean, I suppose it's so you can have a bit of flair. And I find it kind of interesting that that's the only thing we ever let guys, oh, you can have a tie. Well, then you wrap something around your neck so that you can have a little bit of pizzazz.
We lose the music? Do we have any music?
There's music on.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Well, I can turn it up. Although it is in a quieter spot.
Right, I didn't say it wasn't my fault I couldn't hear it. Like, it wasn't my hearing or whatever.
Yeah.
I just said, I can't hear it.
Showed my boys the picture you sent me. They were as enthusiastic as teenagers get. Okay. I was like, wow, okay, thanks. Like, and my one son's like, oh, great, it's Batman Bane. And I was like, well, there's Punisher in there too, and a little bit of Spider-Man, but hey, whatever. One of the guys I work with, he used to run a comic shop. So I ran it by him. It's like, you ever heard of a character named Mastiff? He's like, no. I was like, good. That was the correct answer. Also, in the thing I put on Slack, I'm not married to anything. I'm pretty, well, put it this way. If you were to tell me, oh, that's an absolute crap story, I hate it, I'd be like, all right. And then I would change names and I would steal it for myself. But I have no problems admitting that. But I was trying to get done for, I was like, this is, like, I think it works as a story. And
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to really read it, so.
that's fine.
And so I started reading those initial paragraphs, and I was like, I think we've already talked about this.
Yeah, but that's a lot of times how
I didn't know you weren't presenting it as new, but was presenting it in collated format or whatever, so that we knew what we had decided.
Well, a lot of times when I start off on something, I'll kind of like do a mental recap, I guess, until, like just stuff that I already know to kind of ground myself and to kind of get, flowing. That's, I don't know if you've ever heard this advice before, but I mean, I've heard this before and I've seen it play out quite a bit, that like the first page of anything is normally crap, or at least of a first draft.
Yeah.
So
first draft.
I try to, because the theory behind that is that your brain isn't quite in the flow state yet, and it's got to get in gear. So I get in gear by putting down like some rule or world building, I guess, so that, and then once I have that out of my system, I can start getting into the story better. And it's also not a linear process. So if anyone ever watched me write, it would be, I go for a while, get an idea, have to go back. You've seen some of that with the fact that I have like 17 different drafts of one story, because
right.
I get so far, they'll copy the file in case I want to go back to the stuff I decided to get rid of. Yeah, last night I was up pretty late because I was working on that brain dump, and I don't know. I got the bed around 1, and then Cat woke me up kind of early, and I went. I was like, all right, whatever. I went downstairs and so I'm gonna go grab a pop and then come back up, and I wanted to finish working on my brain dump, and because I wanted to get it to you as fast as I could, and then my wife's like, "Oh, do you want to go to Hobby Lobby? Because I need this, and then we can get breakfast." And I was like, "All right, fine, whatever." Like, I can. Okay, she wanted to go to like Burger King for breakfast or something real fast. She said she knew exactly what she wanted from Hobby Lobby, and it'd be a nice, quick trip. I was like, all right, fine, whatever, let's go. Didn't argue, didn't, you know. And then, but as soon as we get up to the car, she starts changing the plan, and I don't really care except for I want to get back to my writing, and that's just, And then there was pictures that we had to go take of my son and his date. The entire time I'm just thinking, okay, but I'd like to get back home and do some more writing. I was kind of scared I would lose it. And you may read it and be like, you never found it. But hey, at least I tried.
Well, I'm sure that's not the case.
Well,
So far, I think we haven't really had any big major disagreements. It's just change of pace or perspective. And that just takes a minute, and then all of a sudden we're all right again, right?
normally. Have you ever read Silence of the Lambs or The Red Dragon or Hannibal or any of these
No,
books?
I have the Silence of the Lambs, but just never got around to it.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this much. In my opinion, the movie was actually better than the book. So,
You know, there's two movies, right?
for Red Dragon, there are.
No, there's two movies for the original book too.
That, I think, is the original book.
No, yeah, I know, but Silence of the Lambs has another movie version.
So there are two movie versions of the first two books.
of Silence of the Lambs. That's all I know for sure. Because it's called Manhunter.
Yeah, that's from Red Dragon.
Okay.
It is. I'm just.
No, I'm not arguing at all.
I forget the guy. I know.
My
I know
information,
what you're talking about.
my information came from like a TV Guide comment or something.
The guy that played Stryker in one of the X-Men movies, like the X-Men X2, I think, is the one he's in. He's the guy that plays Hannibal in that. But anyway, I have this fascination with having a sociopath be my protagonist for something. And Hannibal, he actually is the protagonist for the most part. The other two that aren't, I don't know. It's a nut I haven't cracked yet, I guess. I've tried to. Haven't really been successful. So, what kind of Mastiffs were the original ones?
It's a Greek name. I want to say Kolos. Let me see.
Would it be King Corso, would it?
No, but that's what I designed him off after.
Oh, okay. Well, that works. I just wondered.
Well, that's what I was looking at when I designed his, posture and face. because we were talking about doing things like fantasy creature type. Enough of a costume to know it's a costume, but
Right.
hmm. Molasses.
So when I was looking up King Corso just now, are those? I was looking particularly for the ears, to be honest with you. I just wondered. And those are more of like a clipped ear. Is that the look we're going? Is that what that is?
What? Oh, the clipped ear. More of the tucked back a little bit ear.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, whatever. It's a
I
mask.
wasn't really sure. I mean,
See, the thing about masks is even though you love Batman with big, huge spike ears, you'd never be able to get into a car and drive and all that shit. So
that is true.
that is making those ears practical. Besides that, a lot of Mastiffs have floppy ears.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was like, okay. So I was looking at some of the pictures and just trying to know more.
Yep. Yeah, the original Greek, the molasses. Now they're calling it molasses hound or Molossian hound, and the Pyrrhus Mastiff. So, but yeah, there's an actual Greek statue to one. I think it's in London.
No, I just wondered.
I was just trying to give you accurate information, or as accurate as I could at the moment.
So as I was working today, all right. I don't know what my computer was thinking, but for about 20 minutes, I had to turn caps lock on so that it wasn't on. Like the computer kept saying, like if I tried to turn it off, it would capitalize everything. And then when I turned it on, it stopped capitalizing everything. And I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I fixed it. So I'm a little concerned, I guess. But, I mean, I fixed it. But have you ever had, like, your cap locks basically being reversed?
No, we had a weird incident with the car, though.
Oh, yeah?
Where, yeah, she hit the horn because somebody tried to cut her off, like, coming on to an on-ramp.
Yeah.
And she hit the horn so hard that the horn, like, stayed on for a minute. And then when it went off, every time it kept saying cruise control. Like cruise control, because she slammed on the steering wheel, right?
Right.
And she couldn't set cruise control, but they kept asking her to.
Yeah.
So, like, we pulled over and I was like, maybe it needs to be restarted. So, literally, we turned the car off and restarted it.
Well, I never restarted the computer. I was getting ready to. I mean, I was like, all right. Like, I wanted to finish my writing. I didn't care. Like, I wasn't letting things stop me. So I was like, I'll turn cap locks on and type normally. I don't care. And then when I was done, I was like getting ready to turn it off just to see if that would fix it. and then it fixed itself, and I just I'm like, all right, whatever.
And that's why I don't trust Google Docs.
I don't know. Some of the stuff coming out of Microsoft is just shady, put it that way. And I mean, I think Google's kind of shady too. I think that almost all of them are, but Google, it's easier for me to work in multiple places. That's why I like it. Although I suppose to some extent, I'm always worried. With cancel culture, they'll just decide, you know what? We don't like your politics, therefore, you have no access to any of your old files. It's like, that's kind of shady.
Yep.
See, the funny thing about what you're doing now is, I thought the picture was done. And, like I was looking at it thinking, yep, that's done. That looks finished. La, 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 la. And then you come along and make what it was completely obvious that it wasn't done. And it's just like, we talked a little bit about this last time. I was like, yeah, you take it farther than I ever think to. So.
And I stopped well before some other people. I did some thinking about what I was going to do with this, so.
Uh-oh.
This is, like I said, this is something I would think would be cool on a t-shirt or something like that, so. I don't want to make it anything less than something that would be cool on a t-shirt, right?
Well, hold on a second. Let me do something. If I slow down, I apologize. I've opened up Facebook and it tends to be a hog. But I'm going to send my wife a message. Oh, yeah, I told my son this afternoon when he was getting his pictures because he was making fun of me and about my hair. And I was like, laugh it up, kid, because I think the last pictures of me with hair are probably prom pictures. And kind of got quiet after that. So it's kind of funny. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I have a feeling that I'm sending that picture you sent to me. I'm sending it to my wife because I have a feeling she's going to tell me what I suspect. With her working in the in t-shirts and stuff for a few years, I think the picture you sent me yesterday, might make for a better t-shirt actually than what you're doing.
Yeah, because you're talking about black and white.
Yeah.
It's easier. But the values of the fun stuff.
Well, I get that, except for I don't know if it's okay, what she said is black and white always preferred to grayscale unless you are screen printing with dot tones. And screen printing tends to be more expensive.
Yeah, but it also lasts longer.
That's true.
That's You have to make those decisions, whether you can afford to do something that's going to last for a while or just something that's good. I'd say like we'd make a regular t-shirt first, and then if it's sold, if people liked it, then we could expand into other types, more detailed. So you get the black and white file,
Right.
So I started my maximum value other than the black.
Yeah.
My lowest value, which is next to black, is a 7. 7 in neutral grays, and then I just walk down 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. And then I do something that probably most people won't like, but I wash all over these colors. Values, not colors. Because when I put this light value over this darker value,
Yeah.
it lightens it up when it dries. And softens the edges from what they were. So it works basically as a blender.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like last time you were talking about like the metal on his hands,
Yeah.
and you're like, I don't know, you'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I did give some thought to that too, though.
Well, I incorporated.
If you're interested, like, I don't think that's metal.
Oh,
I just think it's a substance that we don't have a name for yet.
well,
It's It's kind of like exoskeleton tendons. But then there's these little boxes. That's what you got to figure out. But I figured out how I can change shape with them, and
I kind of needed it to be metal, and I
well,
like the idea.
it can act like metal. Why
his-
does it need to be metal?
It's part of the story. I mean, really, I guess if he has claws that are metal, that works for the story. But even the design feature, I mean, I like the idea of having that harder exoskeleton type thing going on like over his hand. Because, I mean, if he's strong and he punches something, it's going to hurt. Like, it's going to hurt him if he doesn't have some kind of reinforcement. I don't know. Like, it makes perfect sense to me that he has that kind of reinforcement there, and I thought it looked cool or sounded cool. And it's not. God, for a while, it seemed like everyone and their brother had some kind of claw coming out of their hand, like
Right.
like Wolverine.
Yep.
And I was just like, okay, I get it. You're trying. I mean, it's not like Wolverine would have the sole, the only claws, but like, can't you guys come up with anything else?
And they're mostly derivatives of Wolverine.
Yeah, but even
Either that or Weapon X put out a lot of that kind of stuff.
But like, I think the character's name is Night Thrasher from New Warriors. Here's a guy who rides around on a skateboard, and they still basically gave him. I mean, it's just one spike per hand, but still, it's just like, really, like, just okay.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of that aspect. It's kind of like the Freddy's glove aspect too.
The what?
Freddy, or not Freddy? Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
His glove.
Oh, I thought you said his blood. I was like, I
No.
don't get it.
No. I said it's kind of like it's like his glove as well.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know if the thinking is, kind of a combination of that.
I don't know. One of my students and a friend of my son's, and he's also the son of a friend of mine. He was wearing this tux that was like white pants with like a champagne colored jacket, and they were going to go eat at Wingstop before they went to prom. Because there's a large park where a lot of people were getting pictures taken. And so we saw him and talked to him. And yeah, he said he's going to go to Wingstop. And I just thought, good luck, kid. That is one place I would not want to go in an outfit like that. I mean, I guess you could get boneless wings, so you could use a fork. Be real careful. But I was like, yeah, that is. The first prom I went to, which was my wife's, we went to a friend's house. They owned a golf course, and it was just a small golf course, only 9 holes. But their mom cooked filet mignon for us, and I mean I love filet mignon, and I thought it was great. And they own a golf course, and ran an accounting service and stuff. I mean, they had money, but it was their idea to have us go over there, which I was like, okay. And my mom was, my mom had told me that, she gave me like $100 for a tux, and basically said, all right, that's it. That's all you're getting from us. And might have been 150 because I still can't imagine paying $100. But I guess Rhonda thinks that the host family was concerned with how poor she was, and they thought I was apparently too poor, which is kind of funny because, again, my parents, they weren't rich, but they were I mean, they're professionals. I mean, my mom was a nurse. My dad worked for the State Board of Health. I mean, we never lacked for anything. So, well, I don't exactly think. I don't know. I don't know how much I really think my wife is correct. I think she's just more nervous. I don't know, like just she worries that was the excuse for it. I just think it was a nice thing to do, and quite frankly, it was better than I was going to get probably at most restaurants. And it was just my friends, or actually it was my wife's friends, but whatever. I got to have dinner with just people I liked. I remember one guy, this guy Steve Stokes. It was kind of funny because it's this little blonde kid, had a blonde beard, and he wanted his steak rare. Like, he wanted it to just about move. And so here we are, and we're all dressed up, and Steve's got blood running down his chin. And very fond memory of that night. My prom, I remember going to a restaurant. It was a pretty nice restaurant, and we were there, a group of us. And lots of people had gone to that restaurant because it was prom, so they're super busy. And the wait staff hates teenagers. And, it's just, it really started to form my opinion that prom is dumb.
Could have changed the title on this video. The prom is dumb.
get all this. Oh, but it's tradition.
Mm.
When else do you get a chance to dress up with all your friends? Whenever you want. You don't have to wait for someone else to hold prom. If y'all want to go and get fancy dresses and tuxes and go do something, go do something.
This is my inking case.
Ooh.
Oh, I just ruined that pencil. Every time it bounced, the lead broke inside.
More than likely.
Well, you know that you can correct that, right?
No.
You set them in the oven on bake but low. Because
Really?
it's wax. You're melting the wax. You just don't want to burn the wood.
Okay, so that only works for colored pencils then.
Well, yeah. Well, colored pencils are wax. That's the wax
That's fine. I just
that makes it work. Yeah, not real pencils. No, well, I guess they're all real.
yeah. I wish I had known that in college.
Yeah, me too.
I tell you, you know, when you're doing a 9-foot tall drawing of colored pencil, you know, if you drop the main color and it breaks, you're just like, oh god. Because, I mean, I got very familiar with the art supply store and exactly what numbers for what, you know, because you just go in and be like, I need 10 of the, you know, whatever, this one particular color, which is god awful expensive when you're buying them one color at a time. But I mean, it's the only way you can get enough of that one color. It was terrible.
Would you use Prismacolor?
Yeah, those were normally the price range I could afford.
Oh, Prismacolor's got high-end stuff there.
Well, I remember, like, because the art teacher at my high school, I told her anytime you're buying, like, ordering supplies, because she could normally get stuff cheaper than I could. I said, if you just buy, like, the big, they had some pretty big boxes of them. I said, you know, order me one and I'll pay you for it. No problem. And so for, you know, I would have quite a few pencils, but you still have to, you know, it's the main color. You're going to run out of that one. And at the time, I don't know, it was like $50 a box, which was a steal compared to buying them one at a time. But
I don't know the feeling. So I'm taking white colored pencil and blending out the edges of the grays to softer.
yeah,
My stroke is really kind of at the edges of this, but if I see any overlapping stuff that I want to eliminate, I'll run right over that color, but just very lightly, and it'll heighten the value. Throw a little screws in this. I don't usually set out to mix media with colored pencils and stuff, but I actually thought about I want to do kind of a scaled look on him too.
Yeah.
Just some thoughts about what I wanted to do to texture this out so it's not just, I don't want to have it confused for skin. If it's not supposed to be skin. But it really, white color pencil is just enough. It doesn't really white out, so you're not going to color over and get rid of it, but you'll lighten the value. And where it looks rough and you go over the edges of it. You'll blend it in better. Anyone that's been watching David work for a while, David Finch work for a while, has seen similar techniques because they do a lot of mixed media with acrylic and color pencil. And that's what I was talking about all those times when I did all the feathering lines. You start covering in with a marker, and I'm like, if you don't do that, you save a lot of time. So when I say scaly, it's like scale mail, except for not big scale, you know.
So, funny thing, and I'm pretty sure I could find exactly in the video last time where I thought this, but I didn't say anything because I don't know, I didn't feel like it was my place to say. But since you've said it, I'm good. But I was thinking some kind of scale mail, and like I thought it last time, and then so now you're bringing it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that works perfect.
Yeah.
So,
Well, but yeah, I'm not gonna draw it like some big scales or anything, but like
yeah, I get it.
I think maybe little scales, or we're doing hint lines. We're not doing full out illustrations. This is a lot more cartoony, and that's why it went quicker than it would have been if I would have tried to do a realistic drawing. I'm just accentuating the shape, taking the round shapes, making them round, bending them where they bend. I wanted the forearm to look like a whole bunch of sinews because that's, if you look at the dog we were talking about, I have a picture of one right here. There it goes. This is what I had in mind. Clicking the wrong buttons, so I really won't get where I'm trying to go there.
Well, that generally happens, yeah.
What's that?
You normally have to click the right buttons. Tends to help.
It helps. Yep, it helps.
Most women will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, but
that's friendly.
Oh yeah, I wanted to find a vicious picture of it. So when I'm drawing him the way I'm drawing him, and I said I might have to go for all fours.
Yeah.
Because he will look with all fours. It's that kind of a thing. I also thought it would be cool if that muzzle slid aside and there was like a weapon form of teeth.
Yeah, that dog just looks grumpy.
Yeah. You know what? You know, I'm sure you've looked them up, but most Mastiffs are kind of jowly, so
Yeah.
when they don't look like that,
Yeah.
the jowls are hanging down. But I thought this is basically the design I worked with his forehead and kind of into the muzzle.
It's like my dog has pretty loose, jowly cheeks, and my son's like, "You're a fat dog," and I'm like, "No," and like, "Look at all that extra skin," and I'm like, "That's not extra. Like, it's not just extra skin. It's so she can open her mouth as wide as it gets, because you know she can open her mouth super huge." But basically, my son just body shames the dog. Pretty much, he body shames all the pets. So far, the pets don't care, though. So it's like they don't quite understand.
So are you expecting to end up going picking up a kid?
Well, I don't think we're picking him up. Like, he drove. That's not the issue. It's well, I'll just put it in private chat because I can't say it on the screen.
Let's see. There's like one person watching.
It's probably me
Wow.
because I'm on Twitch as well. So there was somebody else earlier. They stopped in for a minute. They didn't say anything, but they stopped in. Anyway, yeah, I put a private comment in there for you.
Yeah.
That's what that toilet paper gun was for.
Right.
So.
So anything you want to talk about in what you wrote?
Well,
Or do you want to just hold off on that?
I can hold off. I mean, I kind of need to see if
it's up to you. Like, I'm pretty much done. I'm just doing some little blending here and there.
Well, we can have an early. I mean, I don't mind having a short stream every once in a while, but I will tell you, I'm not. Well, again, I'm never married to anything that like you were just like this is absolute dog shit. I would be like, all right, that's cool, and I would just
Yeah, but
change
we both
names.
know I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't say that.
Well, whatever. I mean, I expect you to again. I expect you to not hide things from me, at very least. So,
Right.
but like, I'm not married to anything in it per se. I like the overall story structure, but like the names, for example.
Well,
I know why I chose the names I chose,
Oh,
but one of them, like I've got a character in there that I call Shiv. I looked it up, and there have been multiple characters with that name, but I'm like, well, I don't think they can copyright a name like A if it's used by multiple characters from multiple companies. B, they're not like my Shiv. So I was like, it'll work. But, I'm like, I like the name. I like the concept, but I can change the name as well. But I liked it. I had two different options, I thought, for kind of he's not a big bad. He's more of like just the heavy, but still. But if you're like, yeah, I don't like that name or whatever, that can be reworked. I just liked the stuff. I mean, I just liked what he does. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. Like, if you go through it and decide that it sits well with you, the problem, I mean, my biggest worry was like, well, I didn't use anyone that we've talked about except for Mastiff. Although I guess I use Blood Runners.
well, if it's in that world, it's the world that we've been working on. So
Yeah, I'm just saying that I kind of stayed away from some of those characters because Thursday night when I had the idea or started to have the idea, it was pretty fully formed. I mean, that's one of the easiest ones I've ever done. I didn't have to really fight that very much. So I just went with whatever I had, But otherwise, if you're like, well, I'd like to incorporate something more, or I don't like this part, or whatever, I'm open for reworking. I just wanted to make sure, since I had a much more detailed plan for that story than the other one, I thought I would send that over. But that's about all I've got.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I'm not a quick reader, so I do have it pulled up.
If you want to call it quick, I know it's a short stream, but it works.
Yeah, it's Saturday. I don't know if anyone's even on watching anyway. I did send the alert out, but it doesn't really matter. Like, if you wanted to hang out, we hang out. If not, then...
Well, if I can go to that after prom, I probably should. So
Right.
It'll make my wife happier. Well, I mean, part of it, I kind of want to go because I want to, it's not just my boys, it's also my students and, that kind of thing. But
Right. Well, now we finally got a second viewer. That's the stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah. We had a second viewer for a while. By the way, welcome, second viewer, to the Cordox Pub. I think we've got about last call here. So
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, if you want to go through and read, look over that. And again, the outline I think the outline is faster. You might be able to just go through the outline, and then the brain dump is kind of thick. So it's kind of thick, and it's also in some spots it's very light. I don't know how else to put it, but see if you like it. Because I think it's a winner. So anyway,
All right.
well,
thank you, second viewer.
yeah.
Thank
Hey,
you.
whoever's here, you're here looking at hopefully some historic moments, because I think this Mastiff character is going to be awesome. So, get in on the ground floor. Hey, third viewer.
Yeah, because it's 9:30 and we usually run, another hour and a half.
Oh, I scared him away. I said third viewer. They're like, ah! And ran. They're watching. Anyway.
All right. Good night. God bless. Much love.
Peace.